Bada boom, bada bing. So another project begins.
What's up guys, Brad here from Piney Grove, and behind me you see the first garden ever out here on our farm. But what does every garden need? That's right, water. We don't have a water source to water the garden. We're currently running a 100-foot hose from the house that we built. And for those of you out there that have used hose bibs on the side of a house, you know you don't get the right volume of water that you need to properly water a garden. So we're gonna fix that today. So currently we bring water off that hose bib with a 100-foot hose over here to the garden. And what we want to do is get more volume, and the only way we can do that is with a bigger pipe. I've already got it laid out here, but I've got about 140 feet of 1-inch PVC that we're going to bring right to about where I'm standing, put in a small post, and install what's called a frost-free hydrant. We don't get a lot of cold weather out here at the farm in North Florida, but occasionally it does get down in the teens, and rather than have to worry about draining pipes, by putting in a frost-free hydrant, we won't have to worry about that when it does get cold. I've already got the pipe laid out going to the garden, and where we're going to tap into is over here where I have water coming to the pole barn. You can see there's a faucet right there, but I left a little stub of a pipe here to tap into. So we got to dig this out along this foundation, and then of course dig a trench all the way down to the garden. We're gonna take a break from putting the pipe in the ground to show you something. For the first time ever, we had the grandkids come out here, and one of them is already out there on the tractor driving it with his dad. He's been knowing about the tractor for a long time, and he's actually been on it at our house, but he's never been out to the farm. So he's really excited to be on it, driving it with his dad.
We got Rowan on the excavator, and we got my daughter, my Amanda, on the tractor. Look at her go. Look at that farm girl go. Amanda's never touched a piece of farm equipment in her life. She might be a convert now.
All right, guys, we're going to call an audible here. We got a special guest, and he wants to dig, so I guess we're going to dig with the excavator before we dig with the shovel.
Paisley in the background with her dad on the tractor, and Rowan with his papa on the excavator. This will be my favorite day on the farm. He said, oh. That's my favorite, Rowan, spinning. Look at that. He's in that, oh my, a natural.
You see the orange line? We're going to be digging that orange line.
I dig it.
Yeah, let me get it started. I need to dig right in the center of that. You can do that?
I can try.
You see this hand over here, make the bucket, it makes the bucket move. Put your hand on top of my hand, on top of it, and feel what I'm doing, right? All right, take this hand and pull it up. Okay, up. There we go. All right, we're gonna swing over here and dump it. Now take that hand and push it away from you. No, Over here, and we'll get another scoop. Now take this hand and curl it. There you go. All right, stop. Now take it and pull it towards you. We'll swing over here. Now push it away from you. Yep, just like that. Okay, that's enough.
Is that how we do it?
That's how we do it, right there. Yikes. All right, the son-in-law wanted to try at it, so we're gonna try and dig the trench. First time ever he's been at the controls. So it's his very first time on it, and he's actually getting full buckets there and dumping them, so that's a win. If you've never used an excavator before, there's a lot going on. You can instruct somebody what to do with the controls, but it's better just to kind of give them a general overview of the controls and then just let them dig dirt until they get used to it. It's really one of those things you got to learn by feel more than, you know, someone hovering over you. That trench is a little deeper than it needs to be. We talked about the frost line earlier, and we don't really have one out here in Florida. I should have dug from the stub out of the pipe over there to the main trench first, all in front of this shop. But little man wanted to turn on the excavator, and I figured it was safer for him and the building if we did that more out in the open. As with all these jobs, there's always some hand digging. So I've got the stub out right here for the supply line, and this gutter catch makes an immediate elbow. So I'll put an elbow on top of the stub here and then go underneath. And of course, there's a little concrete shelf there from where they poured that footer. This is one of those situations where you don't want to use a shovel, but at the same time, you don't want to tear up your building with your excavator. That is so close. I figure as a minimum, I can loosen up the soil. I just don't want to hit anything. That is so dangerously close. I honestly don't trust my skills to be that close. But everything I can get with the excavator will save me a lot of pain and sweat with the shovel. I'm literally sweating bullets as I do this. I'll be so disappointed if I mess up anything on this shop. It's not only the bucket I have to worry about, but I also got to worry about the boom hitting the door. I only need to go down about a foot. So I scrape along the edge of this concrete with the edge of the bucket like I'm doing now to run that tooth right along the edge of that concrete. If I break this top clay layer, it won't be too hard to dig with the shovel. Working this close to the building has really got me shook. I'm like just literally pouring sweat. I've actually got the boom inside of the frame of the door. Just one slip with my hand, and it's gonna be a bad day. One thing I've learned while owning an excavator is that while digging a trench, you don't just start digging. You gotta think about it, and in this case, it definitely would have been much easier to have dug this short section here before I started the long section. I can't get the excavator at a good angle to kind of scrape along the side of that shop, so I have to keep doing what I was doing in the last segment, which is come at it from an angle. I think I've got the excavator in a good position now where I can come from the edge of the pole barn to the existing trench and connect the two, but I'll be glad when this part is done. All right, guys, between kids and grandkids, there's been a lot going on, so I haven't been doing much recording, but let me get you caught up with where we're at right now. So we hand dug this out, and we got that actually connected to the supply. It's 1-inch PVC. And we don't really have the right angle down here. That's supposed to be a 45 instead of a 90, but we're gonna try and make it fit because we have 20-foot pieces of PVC, and it should bend easily. And over my shoulders, Miss Piney Grove and her daughter.
Brad has a little 4-year-old helper today. 4-year-old helper likes heavy equipment as much as Brad does.
All right, guys, the 120 feet or so trench is dug out right there. It's not perfectly straight. I noticed right about there that that I had a little crook in it, so I tried to straighten it out a little bit. But this 1-inch PVC pipe in 20-foot lengths is very flexible, so it really doesn't need to be straight anyway. And when the grass grows up on top of it, after about a year or so, no one will know. All right, guys, I'm gonna do a little bit of manual labor. Just wanna smooth the bottom of this trench out with this hoe. If I did it with the excavator, that would have just took too much time and burnt too much diesel. I just want that PVC pipe to lay in here without having like gaps under it, so when I pack it, I don't want it to bend. So there's a few humps in here where I didn't get it perfect with the excavator, but just a quick pass with the hoe and it gets it nice and flat here on the bottom. So we don't have the perfect angle on this pipe, so Deb's on the other end holding the pipe up. It's very flexible so that we can get it all the way up into this fitting here. It's a 45-degree fitting. A 90 wouldn't work. We really need a different angle, but this is the one we're going with. All we needed to do is just kind of hit the edge of this trench and then come back to center. My lovely assistant Deb was holding that pipe. Now she's going to get me another piece, but I think it's going to be fine the way it's going to fit in here. I'm using the blue glue, which is the stuff you can use when it's wet, but I'm priming it as well. A little purple primer on there. Some of this blue glue that you can use in a wet environment. All right, Deb, push. Then we'll turn a little bit, all right, and just hold it. Deb's trying to do like 4 things at once. Working with these 20-foot pieces is so much better than 10-footers. There's obviously less gluing involved. I feel like they're more flexible, less joints to worry about. So we push it together, then we turn it just about, not even a quarter of a turn. Make sure there's glue all the way around the joint. Once it'll hold itself, we can let it go. These swells or these bell ends are a lot longer than a typical union or adapter or whatever it's called. So actually the pipe goes in like 2 inches instead of 1 inch. Okay, all the pipe is in. You can see it going up to the pole barn and then down to where we're gonna put the hydrant. And there's Deb. So Deb's been busy out here chasing dogs and kids and grandkids, but I'm glad that that she has some free time because I would have had to pop in and out of the trench to get that pipe. So it's just easier for me to stay in the trench and her to bring me the 20-foot sections of pipe. So that went really quick. At least something went really quick today. When we built out the infrastructure and the water lines, we did a bunch of valves just so that we could shut off water in various places instead of having to go to the well. Bella, it's a valve. But this valve controls the pole barn, so we're gonna turn on some water to flush out that line. It's pretty exciting. See water coming out the end already. So there we go. Got fresh water coming out the end of the pipe, right there by the garden. The reason that we're doing this is so that we get more volume down here to the garden where it's needed. And by having this 1-inch pipe, we'll be able to bring high volumes of water to water this garden so the well doesn't cycle. I'd much rather be using Precious than using the PhDs. That's for sure.
Otherwise known as post-hole diggers. It's 90 degrees today.
I think Deb needs her PhD in post-hole digging.
I'll do it.
I'll take a 90 off of the main trunk line and come over here. This is the actual frost-free hydrant. So I got a piece of 4-inch sewage somewhere around here. We'll put on the end because it drains out of this hole, and we'll fill that sewage pipe with some of this river rock, and we'll also put some of the river rock down in the base of the hole. Also have this 6x6 here because I didn't want to attach the hydrant directly to this post, and this is why. The hydrant needs to be able to be manipulated with your hand, and if it's up against a post that's taller than it, you won't be able to turn that. So I left this end loose so I can glue it whichever way I need it. Right now I'm going to put some river rock down in the bottom. This is the sewage pipe I was talking about. This will go over top the bottom of the hydrant. And the way it works is the valve is at the bottom. So when you turn the water on and off, there's no water above ground. It all drains and comes out that little hole I showed you. And you want that water to go into the ground. You don't want it to sit around the pipe and freeze. So that's why I use the river rock. I hope I put that on right. Well, that didn't go as planned. The sewage pipe was too long. We didn't capture it on film, but we actually had to cut it while it was still over top of here. But we filled it with river rock so it can drain. Then we put a plastic barrier so as we backfill this with dirt, the dirt won't go in the river rock. And then I'm just going to take this leftover river rock and put it here. This part isn't needed. I just don't feel like carrying the river rock back.
The frost-free hydrant is in. Everything's working well. Brad's going to backfill this trench a little bit and we're going to call it a day. As he nudges me with the bucket.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. We still have to backfill this trench, but that's going to have to happen on another day. The day just got away from us. Normally, we close out our video, but today we're going to let our grandson close out our video. So y'all take care out there.
Take care.
Thanks for watching.